Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Myth Busting Mondays. I hope that you guys are having a great day, and I hope you guys are looking forward to today's episode, because ladies and gentlemen, for the final myth of today's episode, we are going to be seeing if it's possible in Left 4 Dead to elevate and fling a player with a throwable grenade. Or in other words, if we have a throwable grenade such as a bio bomb, and someone were to jump on top of us as we throw it, can we basically catapult them up somewhere? That is going to be the final myth of today's episode, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. If any of you guys have a specific myth that you would like to see featured in next week's episode, by all means, please put them down below in the comments. I really would love to see what you guys come up with. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Myth: can you cancel the voting system in Left 4 Dead 2? Alrighty guys, so this myth was submitted by Glabursko, and Glabursko is going to be testing this myth alongside with me and Dan. And the idea is, guys, that we're going to be trying to cancel voting by killing ourselves, because when we kill ourselves, the game technically does a glorified reset back to the beginning, and we want to see if this changes any of the voting. So for the first voting, we're going to test it on map changes, so we kill ourselves, and then we're going to see if it goes through. And yep, this first one goes through. It switched us over to Dead Center, so you can't end up killing yourselves to change the map. That one will go through, but we still have another few that we want to test here. Alrighty, so for this one, now we're going to be testing out if whether or not you can cancel the voting for the difficulty changer. So we are going to be going from normal mode to advanced mode as soon as the game ends up starting. And basically, once we have control of our character and the mod menu is open, we are going to end up killing ourselves, and then we'll see if it will impact the game or not. So we are going to be doing it now, and it looks like that says vote passed, which means that it did go through and it did switch over to advanced mode. And even to verify that, just in case, I actually pulled it up again, and it does change over to advanced. Now we have resetting the entire campaign, so I'm on the Blood Harvest finale with the guys, and we're going to be seeing whether or not that it will boot us back to the very first chapter of the map. So we're once again going to do the literal exact same thing, because essentially, like we said, this should be a glorified reset button, and so we do it right here. Now the map does end up queuing the loading screen, however though, it could just simply reload the exact same chapter we were on. I don't know why it would do that, but I do want to show you guys this just in case it goes to the finale again or something, or even something random like another chapter throughout the entire campaign in general. So it's going towards the end of the loading here, and let's see whether or not it puts us back at the beginning. And yep, the very intro cutscene that I was just referring to was commencing, which means that you can't stop it from resetting the whole entire campaign either. Okay, now we're going to do kick a player, which is probably going to be one of the ones you want to see the most, I assume, because it'd be really interesting if we could prevent people from getting kicked, although that'd probably be a very, very bad thing. So for this test, I'm going to be ending up trying to kick Dan, and if Dan ends up getting kicked out of the lobby, we also know that this is ticked off the box. I really am curious about this one specifically, too. So we down ourselves, and it looks like that Dan does indeed get kicked out of the game, so it's just me and Glabursko now. So yeah, you can't prevent people from getting kicked either based off of this method. Alright guys, so now we're down to the last one. This is going to be return to the lobby vote, and we're going to be seeing if this final one is the last nail in the coffin that we need to label this myth as busted. So here we go, we're calling the vote right now, and let's see if whether or not that downing ourselves will end up resetting the vote or not. So it says vote passed, but nothing's happening. We're actually just continuing to die. So, does that mean that it worked? Hold on a second. Yeah, it just reloaded the entire map again. Wait a second, that means that this works. So out of all the voting options that are in Left 4 Dead, the only one we were able to cancel was return to the lobby. Now I think I have a suspicion about why that this is the case, is because when you down in Left 4 Dead, if everyone is down, the game obviously can't continue. You can't revive yourself from the ground, and there's nobody else to revive you. So when the game ends up seeing that, it's just default going to end, because that's just the way that the game's, coded. But when you vote to return to the lobby, I guess that the game ends up having a prioritization issue, where instead of prioritizing your vote, it prioritizes just simply resetting the game, which is probably just a true-false thing in the coding if X and Y ends up having a certain combination, which leads to this end up happening. So technically, that means that the myth is going to end up being at plausible, because depending on which thing you're looking at, it means that the myth is going to be confirmed or busted, but it only applies to one vote and not all or multiple of them. So you can't do this, for example, to like manipulate kicking or anything, but you can do this if you want to, like, let's say, not end the game yet, which can be useful in a certain instance, but the chances of this happening if you're not using an admin menu to just auto-kill yourself then it's probably going to be slim to none, but it is kind of interesting if you wanted to save your game progress. Myth: can you kill a jockey with a chainsaw? Alrighty guys, so this myth was submitted by a True Winner 1, so thank you True Winner, I appreciate you for sending a myth my way. And just really quickly before we do get into the results of the myth, Dan wanted me to specify one thing, is that anytime we've done these chainsaw myths before in the past, we've always done them on the second chapter of Coldstream, and the reason why is because the one truck that I'm in actually has a guaranteed chainsaw, just in case any of you were wondering, but anywho, I just thought I would mention that. So yes, we have a game right here on Coldstream. I have a chainsaw, and both Globbersko and Dan are special infected. And one of them here shortly is going to end up trying to attack me as the jockey after I'm done murdering my teammates very viciously here. And what's going to happen is that I'm just going to be aiming my chainsaw, and I'm just going to be seeing whether or not it simply works. Now, I am going to be arcing it up, and the reason why I'm doing this is because since the jockey jumps on your head to kill you, I don't want to have it where I miss the jockey and I just assume that the myth is going to be busted. Alrighty guys, so now that my teammates are taken care of, I'm going to be heading into this back corner here, so that way nothing other than the jockey will end up going my way. And Globbersko is a jockey here, so I'm just pre-aiming the chainsaw up with it on. Globbersko is going to try to jump on my head normally, and let's see what happens. So here we go. Globbersko, my friend, jump on my head. Let's see what you got. So here we go. And yep, I was actually able to kill the jockey. And I figured this was going to happen too anyways, because of the fact that it's a goddamn chainsaw. But no, yeah, it worked, which is really cool. And now I have something else in my arsenal that will once again be good for stopping the jockey. By the way, though, I do want to clarify something before we end up finishing this myth, is that if you end up aiming the chainsaw just straight on, the jockey will still be able to hit you, because without aiming it upward, the jockey will just jump around the chainsaw blade and then basically ignore it. So I am glad that I addressed this, because I was originally going to do it this way, which would have given me a completely different result. So when you're doing this, make sure you aim the chainsaw upward. But yeah, the myth is confirmed. You can stop the jockey with a chainsaw, which is really, really great. Myth: can you kill 30 zombies with one SMG mag? Okay guys, so this myth was submitted by Zoe. Zoe asked, can you kill a group of 30 common zombies with one loaded SMG? And I interpret this, my friends, as can you kill up to 30 zombies with one single SMG mag? So that is what we're going to be trying to do here today. I have this little arena where I'm going to be having multiple zombies spawned in here by both Dan and Globbersko. They're going to be Jesus here and create some zombies for me. Now, in order to do this the most efficiently possible, I'm going to be using a suppressed SMG, which has 50 rounds by default, and I'm going to be using a laser sight with incendiary rounds, going for nothing but headshots. I'm trying to maximize my amount of bullets, and I'm going to be seeing if legitimately if it's possible to do this. Because other than using frag rounds, I can't end up seeing if whether or not that this is going to be possible without hitting a precisely perfect shot every single zombie. We could just use frag rounds, and I guarantee you that that would probably work, but it's kind of like making the gun an explosive at that point, and it's really not fair. And if you want to see the true results, by the way, of this footage, just feel free to slow the video down and count along with me. But I decided to speed up for the sake of the video. But when all is said and done, how many zombies did I manage to kill doing this method? You're going to be shocked when you hear this, and honestly a little bit surprised. But it's 29. 29 zombies. Literally just one short of the actual goal, which would have been huge. And the thing is, like I said, I could have just used frag rounds for this video, and I guarantee you it probably would have worked, but it basically is like cheating. I understand this is already kind of like cheating, because this is essentially perfect circumstances, but we are trying to see if it legitimately is possible. So hypothetically, yes, you could have used frag rounds, but we didn't do that, but I'm surprised this even was this close with suppressed SMGs, with only incendiary rounds and laser sights in a controlled environment just getting only headshots. Now, due to a little bit of mixture of human error, the fact that there's going to be just random zombies that are just going to be interfering with the myth, and that also I didn't use frag rounds, instead of labeling this myth at busted or confirmed, I am labeling it at plausible. I guarantee you, I cross my heart and hope to die, that there's got to be some possible way you can do this if you had enough determination, because I got close to doing it this way. If I were a little bit more accurate, if I one-tapped a little bit more frequently instead of clicking and spraying a little too much bullets, I guarantee you that this would have worked. I have that much of a gut feeling, and that's why I'm confident in labeling it as plausible. Myth: is it possible to move your character around after being left behind by the rescue vehicle? Alrighty guys, now this myth was submitted by Drages, who wants to just simply know, can you end up moving around after you've been left behind by the rescue vehicle? Basically, I'm assuming what he means is that can you move around like in the ending cutscene where the vehicle is doing its cinematic takeoff. Now, we're going to be doing this here on No Mercy because typically this is usually the map where we end up getting the most bugs on with the rescue vehicles and stuff like that. So me, Dan, and Glaburska, we're going to try a multitude of methods here. We're going to be trying to zoom around with no clip through the helicopter. We're going to be just simply having no clip active while we're in the helicopter, being on the door area of the helicopter. Maybe we can be squeezed out. A multitude of things are going to be taking place here. So for our first method, we're going to be trying to hang out at the edge of the helicopter near the door. But at this first attempt, it took away all of us, and fortunately, we were not left behind. Then for this next part, we tried to have it where we just ran with no clip straight through the helicopter. And when this ended up happening, we got a really, really interesting result. And I think that I should just show you guys just the raw audio, because this part is just goddamn hilarious.
Damn it, Lewis. Oh. But, Lewis?
What the fuck? He's floating! It's Jesus Lewis! What the fuck? Wait, try moving!
I'm hitting my keys.
Does it not work?
I got no idea. I don't even have access to my menu.
What the fuck? Yeah, but I hope you enjoyed my Jesus Lewis jokes. But yeah, unfortunately, even in that instance where we were technically left behind that time at least, and we were just having Lewis float out in the middle of the sky, Dan was not able to control Lewis. He just sat there floating. Now for this third attempt here, we tried the zigzag method where we just try to just run through the helicopter real quick, and luckily Lewis is on the ground this time. And the thing is though, is that even though Lewis is on the ground, Dan still simply just does not have control of his character. All he does is just sit there. There's the idle animation where Lewis is kind of just sits there and moves at least a little bit, so it's somewhat realistic, but it's not genuine player movement where you can tell that it's a player versus an AI. It wasn't until the next day, right before I made this video, where the man that submitted this myth himself, Drages, wanted to clarify something to me, because he already knew that I was working on this myth, and he said that there was something that we could have tried that we didn't yet, which was going to end up being that, hey, in the console commands, if you end up hitting the squiggle button on your keyboard and you manually end up inputting the kill command and then also the revive command, if you just revive yourself, could you be able to end up doing it that way? And I wasn't sure at first because technically I use the admin menu because I don't remember all the commands by name, and I was like, well, I don't normally have access to my commands when there's a cutscene playing, but yeah, sure, let's try this. So he ended up playing a game with me here once again on No Mercy. And when we ended up doing this, this was actually our results. As I am in the helicopter normally taking off, he just simply kills himself so that the helicopter will leave, and then he revives himself, and you can see he's jumping around, picking up his guns, interacting and everything. This is completely done by Drages himself. That's not normal bot movement, that is player movement, which means that if you do it at least specifically this way, this myth is confirmed. You can move around if you've been left behind by the rescue vehicle, but it's extremely hard to do so, and you probably can only do it if you cheat. Alrighty, meme lords, we're on to the final myth. Let's see if it's possible if you can catapult other players with throwable grenades. Myth: can you catapult players with throwable grenades? Okay guys, the final myth is submitted by Dan or Dr. Zed. And once again, the myth is going to be, can throwables basically catapult players up into the air? So here we go. I'm going to try to launch Dan to the air. Dan, do your thing. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and... yeah! I think so. Yeah, hey, look at that! We did it! Yay! So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this myth is going to be confirmed. You can fling players up on elevated surfaces, or just catapult them in general if you chuck a grenade underneath them. Essentially, you're making the grenade be like the way that the grenade launcher functions, where it's just a item that collides with the player, and it just gives them a boost. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be here for today's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. And thank you as always for watching. If you guys end up enjoying today's episode, please end up dropping a like, comment, and subscribe to show your guys' support. If there's any specific myth that you would like to see featured in next week's episode, please, by all means, put them down below in the comments. I really love to see what you guys come up with. If you'd like to financially support the channel, I tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions, or you guys could use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic's my very first sponsor, and they are sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. And by the way, guys, before you take off, make sure at the end of the video, take a look at the end card. There was going to be a link for the last episode of Myth Busting Mondays, where we saw for the final myth if you can end up playing baseball in Left 4 Dead 2. But anyways, guys, I hope you end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers are ever going to see. Thanks for watching, guys. I love you, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!